loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly.
All right. Truly, 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 truly. Today is Friday, September the 24th, 2021. And it is truly an honor for Yolanda and I to be here tonight co-hosting Truly Live. I can't think of any other place I'd want to be. How about you, darling?
Hello, Oliver. Hello, Oliver. Did I slide in here again tonight?
You slid in here like
just like
2 seconds before we were going live.
Baseball player sliding into
Just
home
like a
plate.
Baseball player coming home for the winning run.
That's right. That's right.
And you won, my dear.
All right.
You made the winning run.
Yes.
Yes. Well, hello out there. To all of our families and friends, those that are acquainted with us and those that are not, welcome to Truly Live, your digital, transformational, principle-centered weekly show that is co-hosted by Certified Master Coach Yolanda Blue and Certified Master Coach Oliver Blue. And we welcome you here tonight to episode 8. Thank you for being here. It's been an outstanding Friday. It's been an outstanding week. And we just been anticipating this hour that we would be spending with you. And thank you for being here. And honey, I guess you want me to get the chats going, right?
I want the chats.
You get
going,
the chats going
sir.
there, and I got them over here. And let's see if we can get the comments going. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'll turn that down.
Yeah, let's do that.
You getting your YouTube going over there?
I'm getting it going.
Are we on there?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're on.
Well, let me check one more place because Twitter just started their new platform for live broadcasting.
Yes.
Replace Periscope. So let me go over there and see if we're there.
And let's make certain that we are doing what we are hoping that we're doing, right?
Yes.
So let's see. Oh, hello.
Oh, Carol's here tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, hello,
Yeah.
Carol and Bob. It's so great to see you
Wow.
guys.
We're on Twitter.
Yay.
Look at there.
Okay, so the last time that we were on Twitter, it was buffering and really choppy and the whole 9 yards. And so we had decided that maybe we wouldn't stream live to Twitter, but since they
have upgraded.
Yes, so we're going to try that and see what's going on.
Yeah. So,
all right, let me hear.
Well, however everyone doing out there, and
okay, there
we have our friends. Oh my goodness, we have our friends from across one county. We have Antoinette and Clifton saw you on tonight. How y'all doing over there?
Hello, pastors.
Yes. All right.
She says, "Hi, hey, Yo-Yo and Ollie."
Yeah.
No one calls us that, but her.
Yeah, she calls us Yo-Yo. She calls Yolanda Yo-Yo. She calls me Ollie.
No one calls me that.
And nobody else has permission to do that. They're the only one who has permission to do that. But I'd like to give a special shout out to some friends that are in town. I have some friends in town this weekend,
Okay.
and we're doing a little um, invitational golf tournament. And I got friends that have flown in from as far west as California, as far north as Cleveland, Ohio, and some came in from Florida,
Wow.
New Jersey. So I'd like to give a shout out to all the brothers on the green. And they came in on yesterday, and they actually had a practice round on yesterday, and then they're starting the event today, tomorrow, and Sunday. And I could not be with them on yesterday and today, but I will be with them tomorrow, and
And Sunday.
I will be there with them on Sunday. So let me give you a little taste of what we're going to be doing.
Oh my goodness. All right. Okay. So I didn't know that was happening.
All right.
Okay.
So welcome to the Brothers on the Green. I'll see you in the morning, and we're going to have an outstanding finish to the tournament. I'm coming after all of you guys.
Okay. Now.
All right. So welcome to Truly Live. If you're a first-time viewer, we welcome you. We are, again, Oliver and Yolanda Blue, and we show up here every Friday at 7 o'clock because we have something that we believe is important to share with our viewers, and so we're happy that you're here. If you're watching the replay, we send you all the best of happiness and joy and greetings. And we're so excited. You know, it's been a great week. Fall has come in.
Will you put my chats back up now that you've
Put your
had
chat,
your little
I had
golf
my little
moment.
golf moment. Yeah, fall has come in, and
If you would please do as some that have already been on, if you'll let us know your name and where you're chatting from, and then we can see where you're coming from. We do see a Facebook, and we've got some YouTube folks on.
yeah.
So
I think all my Facebook comments come in from the business page, so I need to go over there. Let me see if I can get over there. How about that?
All right. Need you to do that quickly, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, you were printing today.
Yeah.
Killing trees.
Well, you know,
right.
I'm kind of old school. I like
No,
paper.
you're traditional.
I'm traditional.
There's
and
nothing old about you.
I know it, but I like paper. So let me go over here to
Our youngest son asked me recently. So we were having a technology challenge, and he said to me, he said, "Hey, Mom, which dinosaur that you guys have as a pet when you were growing up?" And I was like, "Come on, sir. You know, I'm not nearly that old, but I would have liked to have had a couple of dinosaurs."
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So Carol's over there on our Truly OB channel. Well, welcome again.
So if she's coming through on that one, then how about putting up your other business? And then that way we should be able to see all of them.
Okay.
How about that?
That's smart.
So we're still trying to get our chats up because, you know, we enjoy the interaction. We had quite a bit of interaction on last week, episode 7. And we enjoy that. So but what we plan to do is, if you have questions, we're going to do the questions sort of near the end of the program so that we actually can stay on task.
Yes.
How about that? But your comments, as they relate to what we're discussing, we like to read those out as we're doing them. All right.
All right.
Put it here so I can see. There we go.
I don't see any coming up.
All right, that's fine.
Well, anyway, we thank you for being here, and we always like to start our segment. We always like to start off with our segment called Gratitude.
You're not going to tell them who we are and why we're doing this, or?
Yeah, I thought we already done that.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we might get back to that.
We can go. We can go right to inspiration and encouragement.
But we want
no, we're doing gratitude.
We want to start out with gratitude.
Yes. Let's
and the reason we start out our segment with gratitude is because we believe that is one of the most effective ways to create the environment that you want.
Yes.
It's through gratitude, being grateful, and thankful for what's already present in your life. And so we take this moment to ask you to put in the comments or the chat field something that you are grateful for, and just so we can share it with the live viewers here. But I am so happy and grateful uh, for the reality that we have these opportunities to share with the community, the digital community, these what we believe to be life-changing, transformational principles that can help you, help all of us to have more fulfilled, healthier, and happier lives. And I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to be on this side of this entire experience. For whatever reason, we're here, but I'm grateful for it.
Yes.
What about you, sweetheart?
I had such a power packed week. So I'm grateful that all of those tasks got done
Yes.
and that people were helped in the process.
Yes.
So, and of course, I am always aware of and grateful for all of the folks out there who make a choice to join with us so that we can all be on our growing edge and expand our awareness.
Yes.
So I'm always grateful for that. Carol says, we are all so grateful for what we learn from other people, as are we.
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
So glad you and Bob are with us
Yes.
tonight.
And one thing that we're grateful for, and along with the others that are in the Cornerstone community, is that we're grateful that our brother and our friend James Kessler
Yes.
was able to survive a very bad accident this week. And but he
So we're going to get better at that, because we probably just should have said James and not said his whole name.
Yes,
but
yes.
we have certainly been praying for him,
Yes,
and we they have both expressed their gratitude for
Yes.
the prayers
Yes.
and the blessings that you all have
And we thank all of those from Cornerstone community who have reached out to that family,
yes,
and supported them in during this time. Thank you so much. And I feel better already just by making those few gratitude statements.
Oh, really?
It's amazing how it just changes the whole atmosphere.
It does. All right, let's
And
see.
so, but we're going to move on and to our next segment, which we always like to start our shows out by sharing some inspiring or encouraging quote. There's so much good in the world. A lot of time it doesn't get the media attention that it needs to be. There's so much light in the world. There's so many people doing good things in the world through sharing their gifts and talents and the way that they love and express their love in the world. And so we like to take a moment to pull from that wealth of inspiration to kind of kickstart us. So today we actually chose two quotes, but they're from the same loving being. And Yolanda, do you want to read them to us?
Yes, tonight's inspiration and encouragement quote is from Mary Linehan. She's an author and a teacher, and we had the express privilege and honor of being in a conference with her this past weekend.
Yes.
She said, when I'm willing to see, there is a teacher on every corner.
Wow.
And her other quote is, love is our teacher. So when I'm willing to see, there is a teacher on every corner. Love is our teacher.
Oh my goodness, there's so much in that.
Yeah.
When I'm willing to see.
Did you host Mary?
I did host
Yes,
Mary.
yes,
yeah.
yes.
When I'm willing to see, when I am willing to see. So first there has to be a willingness,
A little willingness.
a little willingness, not a lot, but just a little willingness.
Mhm.
Then when we open, open. Wow, that's a great segue into our subject for tonight. Why don't I put that up on the chat right now, up on the board here,
Okay.
so I won't keep people in suspense.
Okay.
So when we become willing and open to see or to see things differently, right?
Hmm.
Then it says life shows us that there's a teacher on every corner. In other words, all of life is there to teach us. And then Mary ended that second quote by saying, love is our teacher. And that is so true because life is love. And that's the reason I wore my life shirt tonight. If you didn't know, I didn't just wear this shirt with these big white letters and the bright blue coloring, but I wore it for the purpose to help to communicate our message tonight and the principles that we're going to be teaching about openness. And we got a revelation, I don't think about a year ago. When
It was actually longer than that.
it's been longer than that.
Yeah, because it was right after.
Yeah,
we,
and
it
I-
was right after we did the website. That
Yeah,
was back in 2017.
And I had put on this shirt one day that my daughter bought me. Thank you, sweetie. And I was looking at it one day, and my inner teacher, which we call love, says that life stands for love is forever. And I said, wow.
And love is for everyone.
And
So
love
we had
is for
two
everyone.
little
Yeah.
segments there.
Got two little revelations. Love is forever, and love is for everyone. And that is so true. And it only takes a little willingness to open ourselves up to become aware of these life-changing truths.
Yes.
And it can change everything. So there you go. That's our quote for today. And thank you, Mary Linehan,
Yes.
for those insights. And so we're about to be moving into our lesson.
Yes. Our truly life lesson
Yes.
tonight.
And again, episode 8 tonight is subject matter is about be open or being open or openness. What is that? What is openness? So if I would ask you the question, sweetheart, are you open? What would your response be?
I am open.
You are open.
Yes, I am open.
Okay.
But we want to let them know from what position we're coming from. What standpoint are we talking about being open?
From what standpoint we're talking about
Yes.
being open?
Yes.
We're talking about openness, which speaks of an attitude.
Mhm.
We're talking about an attitude or a state of mind, the way we think. And so this attitude of openness, in it, there is a welcoming and allowing of everything. There's a welcoming and an allowing of everything to be as it is,
Yes.
to be exactly as it is, without any change.
Okay.
So that's the point of view that we're coming from tonight when we're talking about being open or openness. It's an attitude. It's a state of mind. It's the way we think, to the point that we can welcome and allow everything to be just exactly the way it is. And that, in and of itself, if you step back and think about that, that appear to take a tremendous amount of,
Can you put the chats back on?
yes,
I
that
moved it.
would appear to take a tremendous amount of what change or reflection to say everything can just remain the way it is and define that as being open.
But it actually doesn't even require all of that.
It doesn't require all of
doesn't.
that.
We think it does, but it
Yes.
doesn't require all of that, because it's not as though we can. A number of these things we can't change anyway,
Absolutely.
and it is in the hoping, wishing, even praying that things would be different than what has already occurred. That's where the pain and the suffering comes in.
Yes.
So
Yes.
when we accept that which has occurred, and that doesn't mean that we're in agreement with it or that we condone it,
Right.
or that we're even going to participate in it. What it means is that we are willing to see it, understanding that whatever has happened, especially if this is something that we think is that we would deem negative, that it doesn't define us, and it cannot confine us. So when we remain open, we are going to we're going to learn the lesson that's in there. See if there's a lesson that's in it. I think the first, if we're talking about, okay, what can we do? The first thing is to see what we can bless, see where we can express gratitude. Because as I gave the example, and I've done this many times about the really bad car accident, even though it was a very bad car accident, and this is something that actually did occur in our family, there was the immediate gratefulness that we had, that our child was standing up. Yes, we did, make a trip to the hospital, but all of that was well. So the first thing is to see where we can express gratitude or express a blessing, bless something in that. And then the next step in that is to see if there is to learn the lesson.
Yes, and that's what Mary's quote said,
Yeah.
that once we're willing to see, then we will discover that there's a teacher on every corner,
Yes.
meaning there's a teacher in every activity, in every situation, every circumstance, every condition that we experience in life. There is a teacher, which we like to call our inner teacher, that is there to bring an awareness to something that will cause us to maintain our peace.
Yes.
And to eventually get understanding.
Yes.
As how this situation, circumstance, condition, or event can help us to make better decisions the next time.
Yes.
Absolutely. So there's always a lesson in everything.
So there can be a lesson
That's right.
in everything, and that lesson, certainly helps to expand our awareness.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and sometimes those lessons are what we may want to do moving forward,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's what we may not want to do. So we can learn what to do and what not to do, and both of those can be useful lessons.
Absolutely. So in the same manner that openness is a state or an attitude of welcoming and allowing things to be as they are, it also speaks to welcoming and allowing new awareness and new experiences to come into our life.
Yes.
So it works all encompassing.
Yes.
But from our teaching and learning and experience, we know that to really be open, to really be transparent, to really be available for growth and expansion, accepting the things that the way they are is the biggest step in having that full experience.
It is a big step.
Yeah.
Being open can also be can be thought of as being empty.
Yes.
And what that statement means is we understand that what we know is only what we know. What we know is what we have experienced.
Oh, absolutely.
However, if we are truthful with ourselves, we will know that there are many other experiences, and that we don't know it all.
No. Look, 31 years ago, we began our journey together. And I would say that within the first 3 years, it didn't take us very long, maybe 2 years, we came to a mutual conclusion that what we know is not all there is to know.
Oh, that was in like the first 3 months. You know,
It happened fast for
it
us,
happened
man.
fast. It was in the first 3 months.
Yeah.
So, and
We
I was like,
Yeah.
I thought you'd already done this and you
Yeah.
were prepared. No,
We discovered quickly that,
Yeah.
you know, that if we don't open ourselves up and be willing
yes,
to examine what we what we were working with, what our thinking point of views were, and what our mindset was, and what our level of awareness was, and we came to know real fast that we're not working the things that we're working with. They are not going to sustain us.
yes,
And so we were willing. We came to a point, and we had the conversation that we were willing to examine everything that we knew,
that's right. Question everything.
question everything, whether or not it was adding to or taking away
Yes,
from the quality of our life.
yes. And it was a neat little revelation for us in this experiment that we were doing, where we came to see that there were a number of things that we were doing that we really didn't have any commitment
Yeah.
to doing it. We just did it because that's the way it had always been done. And then when we realized even how we had observed it being done, wow, I mean, they had incredible limitations. So they were just working with what they had.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here we were continuing that when we had so many more things available to us, and they're the ones that had made those things available to us. And here we were still, working in working from that point of lack.
Yeah, we both brought our conditionings.
Yes.
We both brought our narrow experiences.
Yes. And my experiences were quite sheltered. Oliver kept saying, "You're so
Yeah,
sheltered."
see,
I was.
Yeah, see, Yolanda was a farm girl.
Yes.
So she was kind of out there in isolation.
I was out there with the
She was out there with the horses, and the cows and the pigs.
Well, one pig.
One pig.
We only
Arnold.
had one.
And his name was Arnold.
all of the pigs that we had, and I think it was like
Was his name Arnold?
every pig that we had was named Arnold.
Oh, all the pigs were named Arnold.
All the pigs were named Arnold.
So what do you call them? Arnold 1, Arnold 2?
Well, but considering that we only had one at a time, it didn't matter because they were all Arnold. So
what would happen that you'd have to get another Arnold?
Okay, so we digress. We were young. We were in early elementary school, and we just always thought that our dad was getting, his brothers were farmers as well, and so we thought that he was just bringing us a pig from one of his brother's farm for us to. He kept saying, "Don't play with that pig." Well, of course we're going to play with the pig. I mean, why else did he bring the pig? So we're playing with the pig, and then we just noticed that he would always take the pig, and we wouldn't have a pig for a while. But then in the spring, he'd bring another little young pig.
So to come a point where Dad take the pig, you didn't have a pig for a while.
Yes, which was fine because that was during the winter months when it was really, really cold.
But you would notice that Dad would come in with a bunch of.
No, we didn't notice that. We did not notice that.
So he didn't do that in front of y'all.
No. Okay. And so what happened was one year, oh gosh. So, we were all of us are a year. I mean, my oldest sister is 1 year older than I am. And then I'm 1 year older than she is. And then she's 1 year older than the youngest one. Anyway, so we were all, probably in less than this, second or third grade. Okay. And we're having breakfast, and my dad said, "Wow, Arnold sure is tender." And we're thinking tender. What do you mean tender? We were thinking, tender headed, when it would hurt for you to comb your hair and stuff. And he said, no, this meat, Arnold, is just so tender. And so we said, what do you mean he's tender? And you know what? We never knew whether the Arnolds were males or females. I mean, that was beyond our understanding at that point. And he said, don't you guys know, what Arnold is? I mean, what we are using Arnold for? And we're like, no, Arnold's okay. So I have to go back and tell you this. So we were not supposed to be playing with Arnold, but if my dad went to the pack house, which was just down the driveway a little bit, so he wasn't far, but like my mom would go and visit her sister. So we would run and get Arnold. We'd bathe him right quick, and we'd bring him in the house. We put baby powder on him and put ribbons, a big ribbon on him. And Arnold walked on the leash better than any of our dogs ever did. Okay. So
Arnold on a leash.
The pig was on the leash. And then what would happen is when my mom or my dad would start coming, one of us would run out to kind of distract them while the two middle ones of us, we would run to take Arnold back to the pig pen. And it was so neat because none of the Arnolds squealed. I mean, it's like they knew they didn't squeal. Wow. So anyway, so we've been playing with Arnold. Arnold had been in the house. Arnold was on the bed. We cleaned him. He was good. So my dad's going on. He was like, what Arnold is? Arnold is, this is what, sausage and ham and bacon. Wow. And we're like, what? And so he was going on about, so this is what I do. I take Arnold and Arnold gets slaughtered. And we were like, what? And so my youngest sister, we were at the breakfast table. So my youngest sister, she threw up on the table. So that was the end of the end of the breakfast. And we did not eat, I didn't eat any pork for a long time because I was like, how could we do that to Arnold? It was a terrible, terrible, traumatic experience, but oh well.
Wow. So that's how you ended up with all the pigs were named Arnold because it was always only one pig.
It was only one pig
there at the time.
And we named them all Arnold from Green Acres. It was the pig the pig Arnold that was on with.
Yes. Wow. Well, see, she was a farm girl. I was a project kid. I was born into projects. So I was around a lot of people all the time. And so my experiences were a little more expanded to her, but they were still really limited. I know you're laughing there because we got to have to pause here and acknowledge our great friend Eldred Rogers that we just noticed that is on live with us tonight. We see you out there, Eldred. We feel you, and thank you for supporting us, and thank you for all you do as the founder and leader of Utopian Alliance, which I'm affiliated with. And so we love you too, my friend. And Elder actually had a question about.
Yes, he did.
What is his question?
He said, what is the annual experience of openness? And Eldred, if what we said was we were digressing. It doesn't really have anything to do with openness. It was just a story that I was gonna tell real quick. What it really did was it showed our limited awareness. I mean,
yes,
we didn't know. I mean, so we were not. I mean, while we grew up on a farm, and yes, my dad had a huge garden, and we had to work the tobacco.
Yes,
which is one of the reasons that I never did smoke, because it was hard work, and that was just something I didn't want to do. But at any rate, I was still sheltered. We were talking about being
sheltered, conditioned,
and so that's
all of us went through a sheltering and a conditioning in our life, and we became the product of what we were taught. Because, like we mentioned a few weeks ago when we were talking about the real you, we all come here as empty, innocent vessels with the infinite ability to receive information. And to manifest that information that we receive.
It's funny that you say we come here as empty, innocent vessels, because I don't really think we come here empty. I think we come here full, knowing that well, and you see that when you watch young children,
Mhm.
they don't have the capacity of knowing that they can't do things. We're the ones that
That's
tell them
true.
that they can't do
Yeah, they
that.
come here full of
So
adventure,
they come here at full of
full
everything.
full of adventure,
Yeah.
full of discovery, and then we suppress them,
Yeah.
saying you can't, you won't, I
You
won't
don't,
let you, you
yeah.
don't, and that began the process of conditioning. And then when we become young adults, and then we start getting into intimate relationships, we have a high level of anxiety because we just don't have the skill sets to um, to navigate
Yeah.
into happiness, and we become these too closed individuals. So something has to happen.
Yeah. So we
So
were just saying that being open can be thought of as being
being empty.
empty, in that
Yeah.
we know that all we know is what we know,
Yes.
which generally comes from our experiences, but that there are far more experiences and there's a lot more knowledge out there for us.
Yeah, Eldred says people that are born in a dysfunctional family, are they open vessels? Yeah, they're open to receive whatever the dysfunction is in the family. And all of us had some level of that experience. All of us are a product of dysfunction until we come into the knowledge, a higher knowledge of the truth.
Mhm.
We also say that there is a pool of becoming everywhere in the universe. We all feel it in ourselves that there's something that's more about who we are,
Mhm.
even in a dysfunctional state. But we know that there's more. There's this pool of becoming something, and that we're not experiencing. So we feel it in ourselves, a seeking for the life that is our life,
Mhm.
to express a freer, fuller, and more expanded expression of our creative self.
Yes.
To be open is to say yes to what is naturally seeking to emerge and allow ourselves to get in harmony with our own life essence.
Yes.
Wow, these are some thoughtful statements that we're making here, and we don't have the time to go deep into each one of us of them, but we're going to get to this end of this talk, and we're going to leave you with 4 takeaways so that you can concentrate, and it'll help bring this entire message of openness together for you.
And what we can do is we can come back and actually go into some of these in far more depth.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
To be open is to ask yourself, what would I love? Remember, we said the what questions are very empowering questions.
Mhm.
And so to be open to other possibilities, we ask ourselves, what would I love? To be open only takes a little willingness. Very simple questions. We had mentioned earlier that the quality of the life that we experience in most cases is determined by the quality of the questions that we ask. And we said that what questions are very
They're high vibrational questions.
very high vibrational questions.
Yes.
So what would you
And they
love?
are empowering questions,
Empowering
as opposed, meaning that they are expansive, as opposed to questions that you
Yeah.
ask that actually constrict
Yeah.
you already.
Yeah,
From the very beginning.
and it's an indication that you're asking yourself, what is the possibilities beyond what I have already experienced?
Yes. To be open is to be willing to lay everything that we have known and experienced, to lay that on the altar, and to allow our inner teacher to examine it to see if it is in service to our divine self.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
You said a whole week full there,
Yeah.
and we came to that point in our life
Yes.
where we were willing to lay everything that we thought we knew, every experience we had, we were willing to lay it on the altar of our heart, or what we call our inner teacher,
Mhm.
to examine if it was in service to our divine self, to our infinite self, our true self, the real you, which we call it, which is love.
Yes.
Yes. It is through openness that we find the path to true happiness.
Yes.
That's the path. To be open, to be transparent, to consider, and all of us are on a different path, but all of us are apparently having to learn some of the same lessons
Yes.
of life.
Yes.
And life is really, when we heard a teacher this past weekend, and she said that life is really what our teacher is. Life is our teacher. Life is our classroom.
And that's
Your
how we see it. Is
and that's
that
the
our
way we
life
see it.
is our classroom.
Yeah, yeah. When we became open to what we're talking about here tonight, we began to see that all of our relationships were our classroom. Your family you grew up in was your classroom. The
Mhm.
family that you're in now is your classroom. Our workplace, our communities that we live in, the people that we may, the faith communities that we may worship with, every encounter with other human beings, that is a classroom, and it comes an opportunity for us to be open
It certainly does.
to what is trying to emerge in that relationship.
Mhm.
And we have found out that love has something to do with it.
Sure does.
There's a song out there that says, "What does love has to do with it?" And I would respond to that is, love has everything to do with it.
Openness denotes light or illumination,
Yes,
which is infinite and all encompassing.
yes, yes. Once we said yes to being open, and to willing to look beyond what we've known, to see things differently, all kind of illumination begins to come into our awareness, and things that were right there in our present the entire time, we begin to see them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put it in my notes here, but when I was preparing for this, and I made a note that it the statement came to me that to be open is to stop and smell the roses of life, and to see all the simple things of life.
Well, openness is looking, past complications and confusions or conditionings, to the simplicity of life.
Yes.
There is actually joy and beauty in life, and it's there when we are open to see it.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
otherwise, I mean, we could really get bogged down in
Yeah.
all of the ugly that we see.
We could get bogged down in all the craziness,
Mm-hmm.
and all the time, right there by our side is everything that we can ever imagine. But if we're closed to it, or if we are only willing to stay within our comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and not be willing to look at the possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
then we miss so much,
Yes.
so much. But just right there in your very life, right there in all of our lives, everything, because we live in a friendly universe,
Mm-hmm.
and everything that we could ever imagine is already present with us. It just takes the right attitude, the right state of mind, being open to growth, and being open to take your awareness beyond what you have experienced. And life could be so different. It could change in an instant,
Yes.
just with your shift in perception.
Yes.
That's all it takes. And that's what we mean when we said that when we're willing to accept things just the way they are, then we put ourselves in a position or a state of grace to where now we begin to see from a different point of view, see from a place of reality, from a place of love, that life is full of everything that we need right in our very presence,
Yes.
right in our very present, in the present relationships we have. We have to be willing to be open in order to see the shift and have the direct experience. And my final statement about being open is when we are open, we will explore the mystical side of ourselves. And when we say mystical, we only mean we look beyond our body identification and we begin to look at the invisible qualities of life, the visible qualities that we are. And we come to a conclusion. We do come to a conclusion. When you start looking at the mystical side of life, you will quickly conclude that uh, that love in life, or love is life forever, or love is for everyone, and that everything, all activities of life, is inspired by love.
Yes.
And so that's why we continue to bring a message that says, truly, the real you loves you,
And that's
because
because the real you is
the real you
love.
is love.
Yes.
So, what we want to do here now is to finish up by giving you what we call our Truly Live toolbox. We want to conclude our talk tonight by giving you four takeaways, things that you can consider, things that you can practice. Because if we're just here talking and you can't come away from our talk with something that is practical that you can actually begin to put into work to see um, the growth and the benefit that these truths are, then we're just talking, and we don't want to be here just to be talking. We're here to be helpful only.
Marchissa said openness and awareness are waking up to the empowerment of God within.
You
That
said,
is very, very true.
and you said that right. And when you hear Yolanda and I use the word love, that is synonymous to the God that you are referring to.
Or source,
Or source.
creator,
Yes.
whatever name you want to put on it.
So you're exactly right, Marcia. So
I think it's Marchessa.
Marchessa Newland, yes,
we may
love
be
you.
we may be
Yeah.
butchering your name, and if so,
you know
our
Marchessa, don't
apologies.
you? Yeah, Cornerstone.
Okay.
Yeah, good to see you here tonight. So, toolbox number one. Here's your first tool you can take from this talk. Openness is an attitude or state of mind in which we welcome or allow everything to be as it is. A lot of time when we are struggling with
Marchesa. Thank you,
All right. Thank you,
Marchesa. Thank
Marchesa.
you.
Yeah, we can say it phonetically, right?
We can say it correctly.
Yeah, a lot of time in our life, in our experience, we see people suffering with ailments or illnesses, and a lot of times all the energy goes towards trying to get rid of it,
Yes.
trying to get it healed. But we have seen that when people open up and begin to welcome the conditions and allow the condition to be what it is, that generally starts or sparks off a change in the condition. When all the energy stops going towards the healing and we begin to welcome it.
Well, that welcoming allows
it triggers.
It allows the what it does is it releases the block.
It releases the
block, and
That's
then
right.
the healing.
To healing.
Yeah, then the healing is free to be able to.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we have learned that the answer and the solution to every problem is in the problem.
Yes.
It's in the problem. And so when we begin to, like we say, welcome it and allow it to be as it is, and it triggers in us an openness that we begin to see ourselves in a different light, because we know that who we are as spiritual beings is greater than any physical condition, any situation or circumstance or condition. We're much more than that. We're beyond that. And so we've come to understand that we don't allow any conditioning or situation to dictate to us our happiness, our joy, our peace, or our purpose. And it's that shift in our thinking that releases what I think is the healing energy that is already within our own body. It's already in our own body. Like we said, the solution to every problem is in the problem. But we spend a lot of time looking outside of the problem to find the solution.
So this brings about this brings to my remembrance. There is in nature, if there is a let's just talk about vegetation. So if there is a poisonous vegetation like poison oak, poison ivy, or something else that an animal would ingest that would make it sick, and the animals knew that within a 3-foot radius of where, now this is in a natural state. So this is different now that we do so much development, but in nature, before everything was all built up, if there was a poisonous plant or bush or tree and an animal ingested that and became ill, then the animal knew that within a 3-foot radius, the antidote or that which would be needed to correct that illness would be growing naturally
in the same area
within a 3-foot area.
where the
So this is how the people, way back in the day before we became so modernized, they observed the animals and knew that if the animals ate that and got sick and then they ate something else and got better, then they knew that if that happened with them, people, then that they could ingest that.
So the answer is within our own habitat.
It is.
And the animal habitat is more physical in terms of animals don't have a choice. They are born in an environment and they must stay in that environment in order to survive. You can't take fish out of the water. They must stay in the water, and so, but within that habitat is everything that they need. Solution to illness, provision, everything. So, and they remain in their habitat. That's why when we look at the animal kingdom or even the vegetation world, we don't see confusion. We don't see fighting and bickering. We don't see division and strife. And it's amazing. But when it comes to the human,
so we've become conditioned.
This
is a conditioning that we do everything that we can to get away from pain.
Yes.
Not understanding that the solution
is in
for the pain, the solution, the answer is in that pain.
The answer is in the pain.
Yeah.
And so
that answer a lot of times is in the lesson that we need to learn. We think that if it's painful to us, then someone else is causing it.
Yes.
Not understanding that it is a block that is in us that we need to work through so that we're no longer blocking love.
So here it is. Animals.
Michael Bullard is watching us now. Thank you.
Hey, Michael, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. So here it is. So the animal kingdom, the vegetation kingdom,
animal and plant.
The astrology kingdom, you don't see the moon and the stars and the sun fighting. You don't see the galaxies, working against each other. Everything is appear to be in harmony. But when it comes to humanity, there's something that we've been taken out of our natural habitat. And to be taken out of our natural habitat means the way we think, the way we see ourselves, and the way we see others, we have been conditioned And that conditioning is what has taken us out of our natural state of being, which is peace
Yes.
and love, and seeing ourselves as one with everyone and with everything.
Yes.
But we have chosen a way that has that has to do with division, specialness, separation, differences, and we've magnified that way of thinking, and it had over a period of time has created so much hurt and suffering in the world.
Yeah. And we also, the things that we don't understand, we label those as evil.
Yes, we label them as evil if we don't understand it, and not understanding that everything is here to be a solution, to be a blessing to us. But you're right with that level, that thinking outside of our natural state of innocence and oneness. We choose to exercise the propensity, like you say, is to call it evil or to damn it if we don't understand
If
it.
we don't understand it.
And that has caused so
and
much.
sometimes it's just an experience that we have not had.
Yes, that's right. Not being open.
Yeah.
There again, we're not open, but we're only operating out of the conditioning that we've been dealt.
So I'll share a recent example. So I have always done yoga and Pilates. I've done
Yes.
it, but it's never been a practice of mine. And it was basically because most yoga teachers are teaching, they're teaching principles, along with their positions and shapes that they're putting in. And of course, I had always heard that was, contrary to what my religious doctrine was. So while I would do yoga, it never became a practice. However, we have had the express honor and privilege of meeting Jeff Bailey, who is the creator and the developer of Avita, Avita yoga.
Yes.
And he has a different approach to it. And and he was on the conference again this past weekend that we were on. We met him in April, and he was back again last weekend. And so Oliver, he was like, "You need to ask Jeff about your wrist, Yolanda." And I was like, "Well, we'll do it. We should do a private session with him." Well, anyway, we were hosting, and people were asking questions, and so Oliver said, "Hey, Jeff, Yolanda's got this issue with her wrist." And so because he's been doing this for a long time, he knew that, okay, if I'm having a wrist issue, chances are I'm having a shoulder issue. And sure enough, I had been having a shoulder issue. And so anyway, he gave us a couple of shapes to get into and some things to do. And he talked about the pain and how to lean into the pain and not try to get away from it. Not that we're trying to make it hurt. But we've been doing and this is Oliver's first time doing yoga. I have all kinds of CDs and DVDs and the whole 9 yards.
And all the equipment.
Yeah, I've got some equipment and stuff. Anyway, so we've been doing some of the Avita yoga. And I mean, this has been just since Friday.
Yeah.
Last Friday. So it's been 7 days.
Week, yeah.
Just 7 days. And already, I mean, my shoulder that was just giving me such a fit, and I was doing all this compensating, and I was noticing that my posture has completely, just in 7 days, my posture had completely, straightened up more, and I don't have nearly as much pain in that shoulder. And we're working on that wrist. Yeah. And so had I been open, and see, that was only because that was not my experience.
Yes, that's right. And so when we open ourselves up to yoga, which yoga basically means joining with God, yes. That's what it means, to join with God, yoga.
But now we didn't know that because what? We didn't do any investigation. We didn't do any studying. We didn't do anything.
And we found out that the solution to all restriction in the body, the solution is in the place where the restriction is.
Yes.
It's in the place where the restriction is. And so in yoga, they teach you to go to the place where the restriction is and welcome it.
Mm-hmm.
To welcome it. Not try to get rid of it, but to welcome it. And in the welcoming of it, it triggers a shift
Mhm.
to the very solution that we
Yes.
need.
It releases.
It
the
releases
block.
the block to the awareness of the peace and the healing that we want.
Yeah.
So we're going to spend more. We're going to talk about that more on a future broadcast.
Yes.
And but
Because we're coming up.
again, we're running up against time here. So number one, openness is an attitude and a state of mind. And so we welcome everything just the way it is.
Yes.
Number two, in quietness, we pause to consider new possibilities. Now that we accept that the things can remain the way that they are, and now we pause. We just quietly, simply pause and to consider new possibilities,
Mhm.
new way of beings, new adventures, the things that we have suppressed all our life from a child and didn't think that we could have those things or be those things or do those things or give those things. Now we look at the possibility by asking ourselves the question, what would I love? And then thirdly, we ask the quality, again, we ask the quality what question? And then we listen and contemplate with our inner teacher what the inner teacher is saying about the possibility. Remember, I said to be open is to get in touch with your mystical self.
Mhm.
Not that you are a mystery. What we're talking about, your inner self, your true self, your spirit, which we talked about, which is your teacher. And then finally, in the Truly Live toolbox, we want you to take away is that once we're open, once we're quiet, and once we ask the quality question, then we take inspired action, which would lead to a direct experience of the thing that we desire. We take inspired actions. Our actions are inspired by love. We don't take actions out of hate. We don't take actions out of revenge. We don't take actions out of a neediness. We don't take actions out of greed. We don't take actions out of any other motivation other than love. When we go through this process of being open and being quiet and asking the quality question and contemplating what our inner teacher is saying to us, then we move by the love that inspires us. And our activity will be a reflection of love. And we will begin to see and experience, have direct experience of the possible things that we didn't think were possible in our life, regardless of how old you are, regardless of where your background, whether you was a farm girl or a project boy, it didn't matter about your color, your nationality, your creed, your religious affiliation. None of those things matter. What side of the track you grew up on, what size house you grew in, what your political affiliation, none of those things matter. What we're talking about transcends all of the labeling, all of the conditioning, and you can find yourself transformed, meaning getting different results than you ever had thought was possible in your life. So thank you for listening to us tonight. And all we will encourage you is to consider these transformational principles that we shared with you tonight. They work, we know, because we're sitting here talking to you as a result of being open to the possibility of being coaches, helping others, and now sharing it in this digital community. All this is a result of inspired action that we've taken as a result of being open. I rest my case. So, honey, where you want to go from here? Of course, we're kind of past the hour.
So
but
let's do this. We're going to read something from a book that we use as a resource. It's A
Yes.
Course in Miracles.
Yes.
This is in the workbook section, part 1. And this is workbook lesson number 189 in paragraph 7. It reads this. It says, simply do this.
Simply what?
Simply do
Simply
this.
do this. So
So
listen
this
up.
is the application part. Okay. Simply do this. Be still and lay aside all thoughts of what you are and what God is. all concepts you have learned about the world, all images you hold about yourself. Empty your mind of everything it thinks is either true or false, or good or bad, of every thought it judges worthy, and all the ideas of which it is ashamed. Hold on to nothing.
Say that again.
Hold on
Hold on to nothing.
to nothing. Do not bring with you one thought the past has taught, nor one belief you ever learned before from anything. Forget this world, forget this course, and come with wholly empty hands unto your God. Is it not he who knows the way to you? He need not know the way, you need not know the way to him. Your part is simply to allow all obstacles that you have interposed between the Son and God the Father to be quietly removed forever. God will do his part in joyful and immediate response. Ask and receive. For in that way, it says the way to reach him is merely to let him be. For in that way is your reality proclaimed as well. That's workbook number 189, did paragraph 7, paragraph 8, sentences 1 through 5, and then sentences 7 and 8.
Yes, and the title of that lesson is I Feel the Love of God
Within me now.
Within me now.
Yeah.
All right. Wow.
So, Mr. Rogers asked a question. He said, does fear cause people to stay in their comfort zones, and why? Yes, fear does cause people to stay in their comfort zones. And it's only because they're not aware of anything else.
Right.
We cannot live outside of
Right.
our awareness. We
Right.
do not live
Right.
outside of our
Right.
awareness.
Right. Until they come to an awareness that it only takes a little willingness to be open to the possibility of something else that they have not experienced.
Mhm.
And that little willingness actually comes from love. Love is always in us, again, prompting us for the more that life, there's a pull in life and that pull is love that is pulling us to a greater awareness, a greater experience.
Mhm.
And if we don't respond to that pull, yes, our only other option is to stay in and remain into contraction, or in which we call fear. But you keep listening to these truly life lessons that Yolanda and I are bringing week in and week out on Truly Live. Our lessons are designed to help everyone and anyone, no matter what your age or stage. What we're speaking are universal principles that are at work. And if you stay with us and stick with us, you'll begin to become aware of the teacher that is inside of all of us, inside of you. We all have our own guide within us. You'll become aware of that guide and become more sensitive to that guide, and will begin to listen. We'll begin to ask the right questions, the what questions. We'll begin to consider the possibilities of having an expanded experience in this life.
Mm.
And so with that said, we're going to go to our closing segment. And we always love to close
With a blessing.
with a blessing for the viewers.
Yes.
And for ourselves too.
Yes.
We want the blessing too.
Even though this is the Dalai Lama loving kindness meditation, we use this as a prayer.
We use it as a prayer.
And so I do this every day.
Yes.
And by the time that I get finished, I've said this for every being that's on the
Yes.
planet. So
Yes.
tonight, as we do every day for you all, especially those of you that are joining with us, we bless all of you who join with us, and we bless those that you hold dear in your heart. May you all be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
May you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose. That's the Dalai Lama.
And may you live in the awareness of who you truly are in God.
Because the real you,
Loves you.
and that's because the real you is love.
And because the real you is love.
So we extend this blessing to you and
Yes.
to every being that's on the planet.
Yes.
Thank you all so much for
Thank you
watching.
so much for being here with us tonight.
Mabel McLean and William Graham got on as well too.
All right. Mabel, that's my aunt. How you doing, Aunt Mabel? And
Let's do a shout out for your mom because she's always
my
watching.
mom is always watching,
we
and
so
she
appreciate her.
yeah, and she's so busy taking notes that she don't have time to be chatting in the chats and the comments. But she'll tell me, she said, Oliver, I had 3 pages of notes.
We appreciate her.
We appreciate Mom.
We appreciate her
Yes.
being on.
And,
so a shout out to my dad. He is not watching because he is not computer or technology savvy, so he's not watching. But my niece may be. Linnea, thank you so much.
And thank you, William Graham, for jumping on tonight. William is one of my long college friends, and I love this guy so much. And
the reason we call them out is because these people are they've logged on. We'd like for you to like and subscribe to the
Yes.
if what you're hearing is resonating with you, is helping you. We want you to like and subscribe to the channel, and then this way, when you subscribe, you'll get a notice of when we're coming on. And then by all means, if you can get on to let us know where you are,
yes,
who you are, and if we can see your chat, then we most certainly will be responding to that.
And make sure you put on your calendar to join us next Friday, because next Friday we're going to be discussing how you can become partners with us.
Okay.
Through a platform called patreon.com. And it'd be as simple as you go into www.patreon.com/trulylive, and you can sign up, become a patron of our show. And we're going to be talking more specific about it next Friday. So come join us. And until next Friday, I'm Oliver.
I'm Yolanda.
And we are the OK Blues. Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you so much for watching.